Any trip to the Galapagos will start with a flight to Quito, the capital of Ecuador. The flight from Houston was only about 3.5 hours and ends with an unusually steep approach into the Quito airport, which is surrounded by mountains. Quito is a beautiful city, and despite being near the equator, has a very temperate climate due to its elevation of 9,300 feet above sea level. Whether you decide to spend a few days in Quito or venture out into the countryside, this portion of the trip is an extremely enjoyable part of the journey to the Galapagos. Getting to the Galapagos from Quito requires another flight. The islands are located about 600 miles west of the mainland. After arrival in Baltra, one of the very few populated areas of the Galapagos, immediate transportation was provided to a waiting cruise ship, which was our home for the next 7 days. The ship departed Baltra and stopped again in just a couple of hours. Shortly after lunch, it was already time for the first shore excursion. All excursions begin and end at the back of the ship, aboard an inflatable boat called a Zodiac. To protect the delicate and pristine environment of the Galapagos, the government of Ecuador enforces very strict regulations. First, no one can make a shore visit unless accompanied by a certified naturalist. All naturalists are extremely knowledgeable and make sure that all visitors comply with regulation. No food or drink is allowed on any excursion. Also, there are no restrooms available. Therefore, most shore excursions are limited to only 2 or 3 hours. A separate morning and afternoon excursion is offered every day, and usually at different locations, since the ship repositions during the noon meal. As we began the first shore excursion, I was amazed by 2 things. First, that we encountered many animals almost immediately. Second, none of the wildlife seemed to have any natural fear of humans. None of the animals would run when approached, not even the birds. This made for an incredible up-close experience, but also explains why they need the last rule. pink flamingo's diet of shrimp is the basis for its pink color. It is sometimes referred to as a living fossil because it is one of the oldest bird species in the world. Research suggests it has existed for some 50 million years. This species of cormorant is the only one in the world that has lost its ability to fly. It is believed that when the bird arrived on the islands thousands of years ago, they found no predators and a very close food supply. Even though it has evolved into a flightless bird, it still needs to stretch its wings to dry its feathers in the sun. The seawater in the Galapagos is chilly, and a wetsuit is suggested if you want to go snorkeling. The good news is that the cruise line provides everything you need. A wide variety of sea life exists in the Galapagos, including tropical fish and sea turtles. The sea lions that were seen on shore are now in the water and wanting to play. marine iguana is considered to be one of the strangest species on the face of the earth and exists only in the Galapagos. They have developed the ability to swim and fully submerge in seawater in order to feed on kelp. The color of the marine iguana can vary from island to island and is related to the animal's diet. After feeding at sea for up to an hour, the marine iguana will sunbathe in order to bring its body temperature back up. During this time, it also excretes the ingested sea salt through its nose. The land iguana does not possess the swimming skills of its cousin. The adult is exclusively vegetarian and feeds on fruit and flowers of cacti. The land iguana can live for up to 70 years. The highlight of any trip to the Galapagos is seeing the Galapagos giant tortoise. They can be up to 5 feet long and weigh several hundred pounds. The Galapagos tortoise feeds exclusively on plants and can live to be well over 100 years old. They can also survive for up to a year with no food or water whatsoever. Even without the wildlife, the Galapagos landscape is amazing. The Ecuadorian government has taken the necessary steps to protect and preserve an ecosystem that is unique in the world. Even now, the government is continuing to reduce the number of visitors allowed on the islands and is raising the price of a visitor's pass from $100 to $300 for a week of access. Any lover of wildlife should have a goal to someday visit the Galapagos and see firsthand what Darwin saw some 175 years ago.